This is ABC7 News at 5. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
We are starting an hour early with this special edition of Your Suncoast News. Good evening. I'm Stephanie Roberts.
And I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for being with us.
Gas stations around the Suncoast are slowly restocking fuel, but it is a big concern for drivers who are heading back to our area after evacuating from Hurricane Irma. ABC7's
Erica Jackson joins us now live in Sarasota to explain when gas stations around Florida can expect to have more fuel than they have now. Erica?
Good evening, Stephanie and Scott. It could take up to a week for gas stations to return to having a normal supply, but look what I found. Right behind me is a sit-go. This is the intersection of US 301 and 17th Street, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can get an idea. It is packed, at least for the few pumps that they have right now. They're all filled at the moment. Everyone trying to fill up their tanks after it's been, I guess, a couple days since there's been gas available on the Suncoast. AAA says refueling gas stations along major evacuation routes will be a top priority, but drivers are still likely to find long lines. Still, it's good news for families like the Lopolds from Sarasota who are driving back from Georgia after evacuating from the Suncoast last week.
We're taking back roads and stuff, but we're not like trying to get home as fast as we can. We just be patient and let the people that are trying to get into the state to help, the truck drivers and the gas, give them the right of way.
And Florida relies on products that's delivered by tankers into ports like Port Manatee. And Port Manatee never closed for the storm, but it's awaiting inspection from the U.S. Coast Guard before it can start taking in more products like fuel that would soon be delivered to gas stations around our area. Reporting live in Sarasota, Erica Jackson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you, Erica. The diesel that it takes to run the generators at places like the hospitals, It's been heartbreaking how close and stressed they are. They have to have it.
Yeah, absolutely. We should mention, too, Stephanie, that you're watching her on Suncoast View at this time of day. But because of the hurricane and all of the aftermath that we're dealing with, we decided to do a 4 o'clock newscast to add to our news coverage on through Thursday of this week. So
that is right.
Great to have you with us.
Great to
in
be
a different way.
That's
in a
right.
different role.
A lot of help we hope we can get out to the Suncoast. And I know someone that can help tell us if we're going to stay this quiet and calm. We're going to do our first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Certainly it's the calm after the storm.
Yeah, Stephanie, thanks a lot. Yeah, at least we needed this too, because sometimes a storm can go through and then you can deal with more storms in relationship to those afternoon and evening thunderstorms. But luckily there was a lot of dry air set over the Gulf of Mexico, and that's all kind of moved in right now. So we're looking good on that front. A lot of folks cleaning up out there, a lot of chainsaws going on, and a lot of people are hot too because the heat index up near 100 degrees today. You can see a lot of the rain now shifting over to Arkansas, Missouri, also up to Illinois. The rain has come to an end, at least a little bit, over parts of Atlanta and in Georgia, but there's still some showers out there. That low pressure system, I think this is the last advisory. The winds were at 10 miles an hour. So Irma is, for the most part, no longer. It's just a low pressure, tropical low pushing off toward the northwest. It's moving to the northwest at 26. So good forward speed, and that's helpful in terms of flooding rains. But you see it will eventually dissipate here on Wednesday over portions of southeast Missouri. It's been a long storm, and it looks like it's just about history for the most part. As far as the rainfall goes, you can see that rain is rather heavy over Louisiana into Arkansas, northern sections of Mississippi and Alabama, but not too heavy. No rain here right now, but the big news is obviously flooding. We have flood warnings in effect now, and they will continue to be a big problem, especially at the Peace River at Arcadia, where flood stage is 11 feet, and it's expected to go as high as 18 feet, and that won't happen until Friday. So it's going on right now. It's at 17, I believe, currently. We'll talk more about these flood warnings coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you so much. Well, the big issue continues to be for Irma victims is power, or the lack of it, for many Suncoast residents.
All week, Florida Power and Light has been moving operations all around the Suncoast. ABC7's Dwayne Lindo has been following their movements and joins us with the very latest outage numbers. What are crews working on right now, Dwayne?
Well, guys, it's kind of busy for FPL, I'll tell you that much. But there are 300 crews across the country, Texas, Louisiana, South Carolina, all here to restore power for the Suncoast. Now, let's take a look at those numbers. In Sarasota, approximately 120,000 homes are still without power. In a 4-county area, which includes Sarasota, Manatee, Charlotte, and DeSoto, there are more than 240,000 without power. Now take a look at this. Early this morning, the parking lot you see there, right in front of Robarts Arena on Fruitville, was filled with bucket trucks. They have all been dispersed out to that 4-county area that I just mentioned. Now, the big question for everyone is, when will I get my power back? Florida Power and Light says they are working diligently to make sure everyone receives power, but it will take time. But according to FP&L, in terms of the restoration process, there is a protocol.
We focus initially on what we call critical community facilities, police stations, fire and rescue, 911 stations, hospitals, that type of thing. Simultaneously, we move into the major thoroughfares, grocery stores, banks, pharmacies. These are the critical, not conveniences, but necessities that can get a community back up and running. And then quickly after that, we move into the neighborhoods and restore service as fast as we can.
Now, more specifically, FP&L estimates that customers across the West Coast will receive power by September 22nd, with the exception of heavily hit areas. Guys, back to you.
Hey, and Dwayne, I think those crews are sleeping right there at the site on the fairgrounds, right?
Yes, actually, there's a list of, or I should say a group of trailers that a lot of the workers are staying in. I wanted to show that. You'll see aerials of that in our 5 o'clock newscast. So a lot of the workers are staying in these trailers right now instead of hotels or anywhere else. Back to you guys.
Yeah, leaving those hotels for families across the area who may not have power. All right. Thank you so much, Dwayne. More flooding concerns for those living along the Myakka River. That river continues to rise in areas that were flooded just 2 weeks ago after that heavy rain event. Right now, you're looking at Crane Park. That's in Myakka City. It's underwater. Moderate flooding being reported over roadways, but there are no reports of flooding into any homes. No evacuations have been ordered. Some residents are having a hard time moving their cars to drier land.
This area right here is a known flooding area. I've seen small cars flood out there before. I'm gonna go across it because the alternate route would take me probably another 30 minutes to get where I need to go.
According to emergency management, the area does flood easily and residents are used to handling this kind of situation. And the next time
you head to the gas pump, it is going to cost more. Gas prices across Florida are higher than the national average. A gallon of regular averages around $2.71 across the Sarasota Manatee area. That is 5 cents more than a week ago and 47 cents more than a month ago. Hurricane Irma, of course, left a trail of destruction in its wake all across Florida. In Jacksonville, record flooding overwhelmed streets and neighborhoods, surpassing a 153-year-old record. The extent of that damage is just now being assessed from the air and on ground. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office reports on Twitter that more than 300 people had to be rescued from their homes Monday. Governor Rick Scott toured the damage in Jacksonville today, and he's asking Floridians to stay strong.
We got a lot of work to do. But everybody's going to come together. We're going to, get this state rebuilt. This state is a state of strong, resilient people, and we're going to get our jobs back. We're going to help build our companies again, and then we're going to get this all cleaned up and hopefully get more tourists back in our state and get everybody back.
Along the St. Johns River, there is more widespread flooding with dozens of homes and cars completely underwater. Officials say it could take days for this water to recede.
The amount of damage Hurricane Irma unleashed on the Florida Keys is becoming much more evident. Local marinas suffering very heavy damage. Boats were tossed and piled up. Scores of homes were also damaged. In fact, a quarter of the homes in the Keys were destroyed. Repair work is already starting on roads that were heavily damaged by the storm. FEMA is urging people forced to evacuate due to the hurricane to remain patient as they wait to return to their homes.
25% of the houses initially have been destroyed and 65% have major damage. Basically every house in the Keys was impacted in some way or another. This is why we ask people to leave.
Governor Scott says crews continue to check the 42 overseas highway bridges that link the Florida Keys altogether. So far, none appear to be seriously damaged, but residents, again, will not be allowed back in until all of them are checked.
The Suncoast is approved for a disaster declaration, and that means people can apply for federal disaster assistance. The damage across our area includes downed trees, damaged homes, cars, boats, and businesses. Both Sarasota and Manatee counties are included in the major disaster declaration. So you can sign up for help at disasterassistance.gov. There's a link to that on our website, and there's also more information about how to apply for that assistance and a phone number you can call with questions.
This is not something you want to hear about after 2 major hurricanes strike the United States, but FEMA's disaster relief fund is nearly out of money. Congress will have to start working on finding more money soon. Lawmakers have started on another relief bill after last week's $15 billion package for the victims of Hurricane Harvey. In all, Irma could have a $290 billion impact on the U.S. economy. President Trump says he will visit Florida on Thursday.
Irma may be weakening, but it continues to produce unprecedented flooding all across the southeast. This is new video out of Charleston. The storm sent about 4 feet of ocean water into the downtown area. 4 deaths in South Carolina are now attributed to the storm.
Georgia Governor Nathan Deal is urging Georgians to evacuees from Florida. Let me try that again. Both Georgians and Floridians who have evacuated to Georgia, he wants them all to stay put. The governor says while Irma has passed, state and local crews need more time to remove debris and clear roads damaged by the storm. A mandatory evacuation order was set for many coastal areas that has now been lifted. Well, our team coverage continues now in the aftermath of the hurricane. Coming up, Save Our Seabirds is in need of help. We'll show you what Irma did to its facility on City Island.
And Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your first alert forecast, and we'll go to Arcadia to look at the damage there from Hurricane Irma. Stay with us.
And tracking this very dangerous storm, Hurricane Irma.
If you've been ordered to evacuate, please go.
We are double teaming it in the weather center.
You got to make sure that there's no trees around that could fall on you in the safe room.
Of course, we still are impacted.
People are calling in with all kinds of questions and concerns.
City of Venice is without water.
The power has gone out there.
Hoping you've got a battery-powered radio.
I'm not sure if anyone's shift really ends.
Seeing the community come together and help each other.
You know, we are all in this together here.
ABC7 My Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch My Suncoast News wherever you are. On our live stream, on our newly redesigned MySuncoast.com, and a brand new ABC7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, and dining with recipes and all the hottest Suncoast restaurants. Visit MySuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for iOS and Android. We asked you, Suncoast, why do you like ABC7?
I like ABC7 because it's local.
It gives me all the local news.
The local news, local weather.
It's so local and so community driven.
Kelly Wilgus does a great job.
John Scalzi, that's my guy.
Bob Harrigan is wonderful. Stephanie's my favorite.
I like Scott Dennis.
I like them all.
We're all very grateful that you cover what you do and you're here to participate with the community.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Because my parents told me I have to be responsible.
Because my first coach told me, you can do this.
Because my boss showed me how to do a good job.
Because my teacher helped me see the choices.
I'm swimming faster than I ever dreamed.
I am a valuable employee.
I discovered that I could work as an artist.
I will be whatever I want to be.
Youth with disabilities should grow up expecting to work and succeed. For more information, visit whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
We answered the call of duty and left our homes to serve in far-off lands. Now, we answer another call, this time at home, in our own communities, to respond in times of chaos, to use our strength, our skills, and our experiences to bring hope amid devastation and destruction. Together, as a team of brothers and sisters, we're continuing our mission to make this country a little stronger and a little better each day. We are Team Rubicon.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
An area devastated by Hurricane Charlie 13 years ago is now dealing with the aftermath of another storm, Irma, causing extensive damage to our east in Arcadia. Janelle Fort joins us now live with a look at the damage there. Janelle?
Yeah, when we got out here a little earlier today, business owners here immediately met us furious that their emergency management services hadn't come out here and surveyed the damage. Now, since then, which was about 30 minutes ago, the building inspectors have been out here. They've started to clean up this area, but I want to show you guys what it looked like a little earlier today. This building that you're looking at right now is a hotel that's more than 100 years old. It had major roof damage, but it's not clear if that was due to the winds from the hurricane or straight line winds or a possible tornado. Now, since we've been out here, many people have come through checking out the damage and taking pictures. The business owners tell me they actually had to set up road blockades themselves to keep people from driving down this road. Now, when I spoke with the business owners, they told me they're just doing what they can to make it through.
So we're just doing the best we can do. We're just, you know, we're survivors, we're surviving it, but hey, any water we could get would be great. Anybody got any ice, anybody got extra hand boxes, totes, whatever, so we can try to get some of this stuff packed up would be great.
Now, this area is currently without water and power. With those crews coming in, they're starting the cleanup process now, and it could be a week or more before that is complete. For now, reporting live here in Arcadia, Janelle Ford, back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, Janelle. Hurricane Irma tore through Save Our Seabirds on City Island across from Moat Marine Aquarium, leaving extensive damage behind. The 3-acre outdoor facility is filled with trees, plants, and dense foliage for the birds' habitat, but the strong winds and rain made a big mess. No birds were injured, fortunately, but many of their cages were severely damaged. Large branches fell on roofs, flying debris knocked down walls, and some really big trees blew down as well.
Especially this monster over here, which toppled over this big banyan tree, which was a beautiful centerpiece of our facility and now is part of this habitat over here.
Save Our Seabirds is asking for cleanup help from the public, especially if you have chainsaws. You can pitch in, help with that big tree. Please give them a call. That number is 388-3010. Well, all across the Suncoast, students have been out of school since before Irma's arrival, and now it appears the break from the classrooms will continue even longer.
Some of them are probably happy about that. I don't know. ABC7's Bobeth Yates joins us now with today's Sarasota County School District breaking news. Bobeth?
Yeah, well, they probably have some happy students, but teachers and school staff may not be so happy. Sarasota County school officials say they are going to extend the school closure, now set to open schools come Monday morning. Now, officials say that's because they needed the extra time to get schools back up and running and in the pre-storm conditions. Officials said at the height of the storm, they had 14 schools being used as shelter for a total of 18,838 evacuees in those schools. That meant a lot of activity that they weren't used to, meaning a lot of cleanup, including cleanup for animals. Here's what Superintendent Bowden had to say about it.
It's just housing, just the number of people that were in spaces, the number of pets. There was a period of time in which the animals could not go outside, and so they conducted their business interior to the building. And so it's really a cleanup effort that's being hindered somewhat by the unavailability of power at 11 of our school sites. And so we're able to go in and do kind of a cursory clean, but to go in and do that deep cleaning, we do need the access to the elevators to get equipment to the second floor.
Now, as you heard, 11 schools also without power. Now, officials say not all of those 11 schools were used as shelters, so there are some schools in areas that do not have power and just are being affected by the outages in the area. Officials say those schools also, several schools also experienced some minor damage, nothing catastrophic, but they said if they don't fix those issues, they can grow into major problems. So they'll use this time to fix, clean, and do everything they need to do to get all of their schools, shelter schools or not, back up and running in the correct condition they were before the storms. And we'll keep you updated as more schools get their power back, because we know the one behind us still does not have power just yet. All right, back to you.
All right, thank you, Bobeth. An issue facing in both Manatee and Sarasota County, both districts saying schools closed for the rest of this week and resume next Monday. Florida's airports slowly resuming operations. Delta is back flying into and out of Sarasota Bradenton International Airport. American Airlines also resuming flights there today, and JetBlue will be back tomorrow. Tampa International Airport is back open and will ramp up flight schedules during this week. And St. Pete Clearwater Airport will open tomorrow, only at about 50% service. Airport officials say if you're flying into or out of the area, make sure you check with your airline for specific flight information.
Some good news from JetBlue. They are offering discounted tickets for passengers who evacuated Florida due to Hurricane Irma. The airline says any remaining seats on inbound Florida flights scheduled September 16th through the 18th are available for $99 for direct flights and $159 for connecting flights. The airline is also adding 90 flights to its regular schedule to help evacuees get home faster. JetBlue will also waive cancellation and change fees in the wake of Irma.
The remnants of Irma forcing Atlanta's airport to cancel nearly 200 flights today. Atlanta is the world's busiest airport. It is still open. There are flights coming and going, but many travelers are being forced to spend the night at the airport. Not a fun thing to do.
It's a ripple effect. All it takes is a couple of major cities and the whole country's off.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. You're getting on Chicago. There's nothing going on there, but New York's getting socked by, for example, a snowstorm. You can't get out of Chicago because the planes can't get there, so on and so forth. Scott mentioned a good thing. This is the time that a lot of people get injured and get hurt, and seriously, as a result of cleanup. So one thing in particular is you want to make sure you have frequent breaks, drink plenty of fluid, heat exhaustion. They also did a study recently about heart attacks after hurricanes. They increased significantly. Wow. And obviously with the elderly population that we have down here, take it easy. Don't do everything at once. And neighbors are helping out neighbors. I had one gentleman help me out, and took care of this morning. Some of my fence posts were down, and we have some evacuees from Fort Myers. My brother and his family was there. So, everyone's kind of joining to help out. And I just keep looking around saying it could have been so much worse. So much worse. So things are going. It was a little scary driving home last night, too. There's no lights in the street. I couldn't really get a feel for where I was at. I got to look around a little bit more. So, and there were a couple of lights that are still out even now on the way to work. So look out for that. Driving's tough. And remember, you got to stop like a four-way stop sign when you go to those intersections, even though the crossroad may be very less traveled. You still have to stop because they may not see that stop light either there at that little crossroad. So keep that in mind. Just be very careful around those intersections. It is still dangerous to be driving out there right now, but some of the lights not working. Well, good news is that for cleanup day and cleanup rest of the week, for the most part, should be okay in the morning hours on Thursday and Friday, although we are going to see a return of some storms. But Wednesday looks good. We're going to see a limited activity for Thursday, a little bit better chance for some showers and storms on Friday. Titan radar picture, good news, no rain to report, but still a lot of significant flooding going on. These are very serious flooding taking place right now along the Peace River in Arcadia. The flood height is 11 feet. It's now at 17 feet, and it hasn't crested yet. It's expected to go to 18 feet before, and then start to go below that by Tuesday of next week. And again, we have a flood warning for the Myakka River at the Myakka State Park. That is also flooding right now. These flood warnings, other than the Peace River, are a little less flooding, but still, they're over their banks. They're threatening some homes, and again, the park there at Myakka Park closed as a result of that. Flood warning as well into the Horse Creek, also at the Manatee River at the Myakka Head. There's flooding there. Also at the Rye Bridge, there's flooding. Lots going on. We'll try to get to those reports there just at the 6 o'clock news. But Titan radar picture continues to show Irma, what's left of her, is still causing all sorts of problems with flooding. We saw that flood report in the Carolinas. That rain has stopped, but boy, they were just hammered by this feeder band that came in there late last night and this morning. And obviously it takes a while for all that rain and runoff to run into the rivers and streams, and they're dealing with some significant flooding. Well, here's our next storm. Luckily, it's not going to have an impact on us. It's a rather large storm, too. At one point, it was a Category 4. It seems to be getting its act back together, but not so much. The storm's width is over 200 miles wide. So some big storms in the Atlantic this year and in the Gulf of Mexico. We've seen this, and I don't think the season's over. We have to go to November 30th, and I think there'll still be some Category 3s, 4s, and 5s out there before it's all said and done. Well, this is Jose. At one point yesterday, I had a cone going closer to South Carolina and Florida, but today, not as much. 75-mile-an-hour wind. It stays as a Category 1, does a little loop, and then this is starting to bend off to the east. Now, there's 1 or 2 models that take it off to the west, but those are outliers. Most of them agree that it will stay off the U.S. coast, so we'll keep an eye on for you. There was another system, too, behind it we were watching, but now the chances of that developing is only at 10%, so that's really good news, too. Look at this dry air. You know, sometimes after a storm moves through, like I said, the atmosphere can really be juiced up, and you get these big storms in the afternoon and evening. That isn't happening, so that's really helping us as far as the cleanup goes. Tonight, clear skies up until 11 o'clock, 77, though, will be warm for the folks without air conditioning. Again, I feel for you there. You have to drink plenty of water, stay hydrated, obviously, and keep the window open. 84 degrees right there, and that's not going to help much. So heat index at 91, the dew point 74. We have a west wind at 8 and temperature at 91 now in Miami and 88 in Orlando. Temperature is a bunch warmer inland, 91 in Sebring, Lake Placid at 91. The water temperature, look at this. Before the storm, it was 89 to 90 degrees. It has cooled because of the, again, wave action. On top of that, it went out into the Gulf of Mexico. The actual drop, it turns out, was about 3.5 feet. That's the east and northeast winds that kind of blew all that water out the bay. Hourly forecast checks pretty good tomorrow. Just a few clouds, temperatures in the mid-80s. We will feel like about 95, though, so keep that in mind. Here's the forecast then for the next 7 days. A good day tomorrow, and then a 40% chance. Those will be mainly afternoon and evening on Thursday and Friday, and then it tapers off for the weekend. So we're going to see a much better weekend ahead. Back to you.
Okay, Bob, thank you. And first alert traffic right now. The roadways can be busy at this time of day, but things are looking pretty good at this hour. Look at all the green on the map. I think a lot of people are heeding the advice to stay off the roads if you can. Only go out if you really need to. I-75 all green. I'm sure a lot of people are heading south after evacuating, but no congestion at this hour, north or south.
Well, new video shows why trying to escape the dangers of Irma could be so dangerous. Coming up, hear from the driver who is so shaken after a tree nearly killed her.
But first, Pizza Hut backlash. Find out about the threat to workers at one Jacksonville location that left the entire chain embarrassed.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining.
When you want to get away from it all, to a place where you can do everything, or nothing at all, surrounded by natural beauty and all the modern amenities you might desire, then you'll want to be here at the Wanna Be Inn on the beautiful shores of Manasota Key, Florida. To plan your escape, log on to wannabeinn.com.
The kitchen is where life happens. Manasota Flooring now offers a wide variety of beautiful quality craft-made cabinetry to make sure the heart of your home reflects your style. Visit us today at our new kitchen and bath cabinetry locations.
ABC7, My Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch My Suncoast News wherever you are. On our live stream, on our newly redesigned mysuncoast.com, and a brand new ABC7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, and dining with recipes and all the hottest Suncoast restaurants. Visit mysuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for iOS and Android.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC filter hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Pizza Hut is reacting to allegations that a manager threatened workers who were fleeing Hurricane Irma. The chain is clarifying its hurricane policy after employees at a Jacksonville location posted a memo online from their manager. The manager declared that workers are only allowed to evacuate 24 hours before Irma hit, and that they must return within 3 days of their evacuation. Otherwise, they would be punished as no-show. In the statement, Pizza Hut said the manager did not follow company guidelines.
Caught on dash cam video, a large tree falls across an Atlanta area road, striking and then lifting up an SUV right off the ground. The man driving behind her just happened to be recording the storm. Lori Wilson has the story.
Watch this dash cam video for just a few seconds and you'll see just how fortunate April Baxter is.
It started falling and I closed my eyes and hit the brakes and started screaming.
April was in her SUV traveling about 40 miles an hour Monday on Highway 92 in Griffin.
We live in a mobile home, so I was trying to get to safety.
That's when she saw a tree start to fall.
It's scary. It's just scary. And I thought, this is it. This is the end. I'm done.
I would have still been shaking and shivering.
She was headed to her sister-in-law's house to meet up with her husband and stay there for the night. Monday evening, Robbie Baxter holds his wife tight. He saw the video too.
I closed my eyes and then the airbags popped. So it was also fast, very fast.
Tonight, she's taking medication for her injuries. A seatbelt burn, strained muscle in her shoulder from holding the steering wheel so tight, her knee hurt, and so is her big toe.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody that stopped. But after seeing the video, I'm very thankful.
Thankful that the man who recorded the video didn't slam into the back of her. Thankful she wasn't a few seconds later. Thankful she wasn't crushed by that tree.
Survived Irma. Yes.
Well, she's a survivor. The man who recorded that video says he's just happy she's okay. But there have been 3 Irma-related deaths in Georgia, and 2 of those were caused by falling trees.
Oh, that gave me chills to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, what reaction? How lucky.
She saw it coming and hit the brakes
just
before
in time.
Yeah, so that was really good.
Wow.
Well, our team coverage of the aftermath of Hurricane Irma continues on your Suncoast News.
The deadly storm's causing even more destruction as it continues its trek north. Millions across the southeast are being told not to go outside.
But first, more on the recovery here at home. After the break, a live report from Anna Maria Island. Neighbors there are getting their first look at the damage left behind and grateful it wasn't any worse.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC7 News at 5:30. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back to a special 4 p.m. edition. It is 4:36, and I'm Stephanie Roberts.
And I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks for being with us. Today, we're getting our first look at Irma's impact on Anna Maria Island.
Kevin Fry joins us live from the Bridge Street Pier with some good news tonight. Kevin, we were so worried about our islands. How's it look out there?
Overall, they fared really well throughout this. Now, there is some damage here, of course. The Bridge Street Pier, as you can see right here behind me, is cut off for the most part the whole way down, at least temporarily. But people are largely counting their blessings around here. There are people out already boating at this point, saying they largely dodged a bullet. Now, a little earlier today, we stopped by the Cedar Grove Resorts and Cottages. Owner Eric Carnes returned last night to find some shingles ripped off the roof and at least one tree down. But overall, he said things could have been far worse in all of this.
I was somewhat pleasantly surprised that I actually thought that it was going to be really doom and gloom and buildings were going to be down on the ground in matchsticks. That's what I thought, and I was very fortunate to see we were still up.
He says they will be welcoming back his first guest this afternoon. Now, if anything, the biggest issue here on the island, like across much of the region, is electricity, power outages, especially at those intersections. People are, for the most part, being pretty courteous. The Homes chief says all of Anna Maria is without power, whereas about 80% of homes does not have any electricity. But again, people here counting their blessings. We'll have more on this coming up on at 5 o'clock. I apologize. And for now, though, I'm Kevin Fry reporting on Santa Maria. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. It's honestly amazing because a big rainstorm has caused bigger problems there than it seems
absolutely.
that this did.
Yeah,
so.
Flooding is always a major issue out there.
Right, very thankful. Well, Governor Scott says 30,000 workers are coming in from all over the country to help get the lights back on in our state.
So here are the latest power outage numbers locally. In Sarasota County, nearly 115,000 homes are still without power. That's about 44% of the county. Manatee County, more than 72,000 customers are without power. 41,000 plus are in the dark in Charlotte. And DeSoto County's outage number now stands at 9,600 homes and businesses. And now the heat and humidity are returning to all those without power. Not a fun thing to go through.
No, not at all. We're going to head over to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, who has our first alert forecast. Bob?
That's right. Looks like we're going to see some higher humidity, especially as we work into the end of this work week. And not a lot of people working right now. They're working outside near their homes, getting the job done, and the FPL crews are working as well. You can see a lot of rainfall kind of rotating around this large area of low pressure for the most part now. It's weakened down to a tropical low, and it's going to continue to move off to the northwest. Irma is history for the most part, but still causing problems in the Carolinas, through North Georgia, and throughout parts of Tennessee, all the way over to Arkansas. That's how big of a storm system this is. Now, the big concern for us is rainfall. If we don't get any rain, that's great news. We have some problems, though, with the flooding, and we have major flooding going on. It's described as major flooding along the Peace River in Arcadia, where 60 homes are flooded right now, it appears. And the stage, as far as flood stage goes, it's still rising above that 11-foot stage as a result of the heavy rainfall we saw. It's at 17 17.2 feet, is expected to crest on Friday at 18.2 feet, and then downstream more flooding will persist as a result of that. But all these rivers that you see here are still above flood stage at this point, but thankfully we're not getting a lot of rainfall right now, and we should stay dry tomorrow as well. There's Arcadia, there's the river. It goes, we'll take those warnings out, and you can see all the areas. It flows all the way down through into the Charlotte Harbor, and downstream can be dangerous as well as that flooding river continues to work its way down into Charlotte Harbor. 84 right now. We have clear skies, just a few clouds out there. That heat index at 91. It could be worse. It's not too terrible, but still, without air it is, especially indoors in your homes. And here's a look at the radar, or I should say the color-enhanced satellite imagery. You don't see those deep reds anymore, and that means the cloud tops aren't nearly as high into the atmosphere, indicating a little less rain going on this afternoon, and it looks like it'll stay that way this evening. And looks like no more advisories are going to be issued. We'll wait and see. I doubt they put another advisory out, but we'll see. They may put another one out at 5 o'clock, but that should probably be the last one for Irma, which was a devastating storm across a lot of different places. Well, you can see that dry air continues to shift in, but some moisture will start to return, though, later on this week, especially on Thursday, as we'll start to see more showers and storms moving on in. The good news also, we were watching a little area out here in the Atlantic. It is now down to a 10% chance of developing, and it appears that Jose will not have a problem with us. It will move out into the Atlantic at this point. We'll have more on that coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Here at home, the aftermath of Hurricane Irma continues to be felt in Northport.
ABC7's Christopher Brantley is in Northport now, and he gives us a look at what people are dealing with as they continue to clean up. Hi, Chris.
Well, good evening to you both from the city of Northport, where, despite its appearance, this is actually a residential street. And I want to point your attention to the most truthful street sign ever. It says, "Streets subject to flooding during the raining season." Well, no kidding. So bad is the flooding out here right now. The city of Northport has opened up a shelter just down the road at City Hall, the Mullen Center, for all of the residents who live out here, so many of whom have small cars and cannot get home right now. All day long, the fire department and first responders alike have been all out here, going door to door in everything from airboats to heavy-duty fire trucks, all trying to get people's attention, let them know that the shelter is open, and ask if they need any help. Right now, we don't know of many homes that have been flooded right now, but they certainly could be threatened if this flooding starts to rise. Now, earlier today, we spoke to a resident who lives out here. He has a 4x4, isn't too terribly concerned, but has seen a whole lot of cars get flooded.
You come up on the road, you can't really tell how deep it is, and you know, at the beginning it's only a few inches deep, and then if you go through, you know, it's been 15, 16 inches in some of these places out here. So.
And certainly that flooding could continue out here. These waters, which are already pretty high, again on a residential street, they could increase over the next several days. So if you're a resident out here, you know somebody out here, you could check up on them. They can go to the Mullen Center right next to City Hall, where they'll have a place to stay, hot showers and a hot meal in the event that they can't get to and from their house. Reporting live in Northport, Christopher Brantley, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you, Christopher. And a good time to remind everybody, never, ever drive into standing water, since you simply will not know how deep it is. Sarasota County has announced garbage collection will resume on Wednesday, and they're asking residents in the meantime to help keep their curbs clear to help street debris cleanup. Manatee County resumed collection today, but there will be no collection of recycling, yard waste, or storm debris at this time.
Hazardous waste collection in Manatee County scheduled for Saturday has been canceled. Residents should plan to bring their household hazardous waste and e-scrap to the Lena Road landfill not until Saturday, October 21st. They're really putting this off. Household hazardous waste can also be taken to the following locations that day: the Manatee County Fairgrounds, which is on 17th Street West in Palmetto, and the Manatee County Utilities Department on 66th Street West in Bradenton.
Well, the water is back on for Englewood residents, but the Englewood Water District has issued a boil water notice for all customers served by Bosila Utilities. Water pressure was reduced or lost for most customers, and it is not yet safe to drink. In Venice, residents are also under a boil water advisory for the next 72 hours. All water used for drinking or cooking must be boiled, or you can use bottled water as a safe alternative.
As you recover from Hurricane Irma, there are several phone numbers locally and statewide you can call for information and help. Grab a pen and paper and jot these numbers down if you need them. The Florida Emergency Information Line is 1-800-342-3557. The Sarasota County Contact Center is 861-5000. And then in Manatee County, the Citizens Information Center line is 749-3547. Be sure to write those numbers down or store them in your phone. You have them handy if you need them. And we'll be right back with Bob's full forecast. Stay with us.
When severe weather strikes, trust ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
ABC7 News at 7 weeknights. Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs. And you learned how to not ignore yours. I discovered how to make healthier meals. And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
ABC7 My Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch My Suncoast News wherever you are. On our live stream, on our newly redesigned mysuncoast.com, and a brand new ABC7 My Suncoast app. Powered by the Eye Associates, providing Sight for Life. Featuring traffic maps and live radar. And dining with recipes and all the hottest Suncoast restaurants. Visit mysuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for iOS and Android. Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Well, it's a much better sight on our Van Wezel webcam. A review of Sarasota Bay, which was pushed out at one point during and before the storm as a result of those east and northeast winds. Some 3.5-foot drop as a result of that. It was really quite incredible. You don't see that very often. Last time, really, in 1960 when Donna moved in the eastern portion of the Sarasota County. And right now, the Titan radar picture is something we need, and no rainfall around here. A few spotty showers down to our south. Things are drying out. That's good, and there's still some danger on those roadways. I know coming in, a couple are still closed, and also street lights are still not operating in some locations. Remember to treat those as a four-way stop. It doesn't matter if the side road is not that big of a road. You still have to treat it like a four-way stop. I talked about this earlier. The flood warning is very serious along the Peace River in Arcadia right now, impacting 60 homes, and that is expected to go even higher, up to 18.2 feet by Friday. The other rivers are flooding. It's not as serious, however, but still causing some flooding there at the Myakka River, at the Myakka State Park, also the Manatee River at Again, the Myakka Head and at the Rye Bridge, there's some flooding going there as well. So keep an eye on that. Obviously, more rain would be a bad thing, and we're not going to see that tomorrow. Thursday, there's a 40% chance for showers and storms. By Friday, it jumps up to our typical afternoon and evening variety of storms with up to a 50% chance for storms. Well, out there in the tropics, we still have a long way to go before the official end, and we'll watch these storms. But right now, good news is nothing on the horizon at this point. It appears that Jose is going to head out to the open waters of the Atlantic. Those are the ones we like to see. They disperse energy, excessive heat that's built up in the waters of the Atlantic Ocean and the air. And as far as the latest goes on it, it is just a Category 1 hurricane, but still a storm out there nonetheless, causing problems for shipping interests, but that's about it. It's going to do a loop as a result of a high-pressure ridge very light to the east of it, kind of pushing it eventually off to the northeast, and a trough of low pressure will catch it and move it over into the open waters of the Atlantic. So things are good on that front. And drier air is starting to slip in. That's really good news, too, because this area of low pressure, the remnant low of what was Irma, is still hanging around a little bit with all this dry air in place. There's not much moisture source to really create a serious situation, which could have been especially into parts of Missouri, also into Arkansas and Tennessee. They're still getting flooding there, don't get me wrong, but it could have been much worse for them as well. Well, here's the evening planner, and we're looking pretty good, but it will be warm, and I feel for those folks that have no power right now. As a result of the temperatures into the mid-70s, that's going to be very warm, and it will be muggy, and it will actually get more humid as we move through the next couple of days. 84 right now. We have some sunshine, the heat index at 91. The pressure is bouncing back up now, 29.88 inches, and the winds are out of the west at 8 miles an hour. It's 91 in Miami, 88 in Orlando, 86 in Jacksonville, Key West. Their weather station there not operating as you would expect, and 86 now in Tallahassee. Temperatures here in the low to mid 80s, upper 80s to low 90s in Sebring, Lake Placid, and Avon Park. The water temperature actually has dropped about 7 degrees since this storm, and that is a direct result of the wave action that was going on around the time Irma was passing through. Tomorrow's highs into the mid 80s for the most part to upper 80s. We'll see heat indices up around 95 tomorrow afternoon. Things will get a little bit more active on Thursday and Friday. We'll be right back after this.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received J.D. Power Awards for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 1-800-468-1930. Go online or visit a Target store today.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
The President of France, Emmanuel Macron, is touring the Caribbean islands that are French territories and bringing them aid after Hurricane Irma. Macron's plane is bringing water, food, medicine, and emergency equipment. He's also bringing doctors and experts that will assess the damage there. St. Martin was one of the hardest hit islands where 10 people were killed. Remember, Irma was a Cat 5 with 185-mile-an-hour winds at this time. About 1,500 troops, police, and emergency workers were on the ground to help the islanders. 500 or more are expected to arrive in the coming days. That's according to French authorities.
Social media is a game changer for Americans coping with natural disaster. Worried relatives, generous volunteers, frantic neighbors, even medical providers all go online to establish contact and send help. Communicating can be difficult because Hurricane Irma did wipe out electricity and cell service to many communities across Florida. Facebook's Safety Check feature is letting people know that tell their friends and family that they're okay, and some people even using Zello, the walkie-talkie app, to get the word out of their status through other people who are then able to spread that word online.
As the Suncoast begins its recovery from Irma, there are some eagerly looking to help. If you want to find volunteer opportunities for Irma victims, there are plenty of them out there. You can call 1-800-FL-HELP-1 or visit floridaflorida.org. So
this is definitely the time to group together and help out.
Absolutely. Just as neighbors are helping neighbors, there's a lot of need across our entire state because this storm hit the entire state.
Yeah, it's amazing the widespreadness of who needs things now, you know, from water to just any kind of aid. And, you know, the agencies like Red Cross who are there, they're strapped for time and money.
Our coverage of the aftermath of Hurricane Irma will continue at 5 o'clock, just a few minutes from now. We hope you'll stay with us.
We'll be right back.